Everyone, it's Jack with Generation Jak of the Cryton Chronicles, back again with another episode of What's in the Box. Today I have Ancient Terrible Things. I believe this was a Kickstarter game. Can't be positive, but I believe it was. 'Cause I do believe I saw an expansion for it actually, and I just finally got to play this again this past week. So I kind of just saw it over there, and I got excited and wanted to share it. It's a game designed by Simon McGregor, published by Pleasant Company Games, and yeah, let's take a look at what's inside. As you can see, it's a pulp horror dice game. Use a lot of dice rolling and worker placement. So, all right, let's start with this. Actually, these are the characters that you'll be able to be throughout the game. You got the prospector, the journalist, the captain, and the heiress. And generally, the boards are pretty much the same. You've got your turn sequence and the locations that are on the player board, or actually the actual board, and it kind of goes into more detail here on your player board, so you don't have to constantly look it up in the book. Yeah, and you've got these are actually where you'll have little tokens. You'll have treasure, focus, feat, courage, and terrible things. And terrible thing tokens will be count against you at the end of the game for your total victory points. I'll have to look real quick at what they call them specifically for this game because I can't remember now offhand. So yeah, so these are your player boards. Pretty nice. Yeah, so I like the art in this. It's a little different art style. I believe it was Rob Van Ziel here who did the art for the game. I really like it. These are your tokens that kind of coincide. They do coincide with these different sections here. The courage, so you got courage tokens, feat tokens, treasure tokens, and focus tokens, and these will over time allow you to do different things. Treasure, you can buy swag, and which are basically items and artifacts that you can use special abilities for. You've got courage, the purple, which will help you fight the terrible things, the monsters that you find throughout the jungle you're exploring. You got your focus dice here. If this will focus, get it? Yeah. So this will allow you to reroll dice, and the feat dice. I mean the feat tokens allow you to kind of manipulate dice. You can kind of tick them up or down. I think 1 pip. So. Yeah, so and there's a lot of them here. You'll be collecting quite a few throughout the game, especially if there's 4 players. And yeah, it was only a 4-player game. I think the expansion allowed it to go up to 5, but I'd have to check on that. Let's see here. These are the different dice you'll be rolling throughout the game. And you got your little character markers that coincide color-wise to your player boards. So, it's nice thick pieces there. So, and the dice you'll have, they pretty much coincide. Again, you got the green, which is the focus dice, and those are the ones that you'll be rolling the most. Yellow is luck dice. You've got, well, I guess there's only 2 that are the same because this is I believe the feat die, and you can use your feat tokens to change it by 1, so 5 to 6 or maybe to a 4, I believe. Panic dice, certain items let you roll these. You can roll it, but you can't re-roll it. It's kind of got a that whole Yahtzee bang dice kind of you have to roll once, and then after that you can decide if you want to re-roll your dice an additional 2 times. So, and there's a handful of rules that go into that because there's restrictions per the different kind of dice, but you can go into that during a playthrough. And tuck these away here. We got in here. This is the like first player token. That's the like an expedition map. And then you've got the journal here, which is what you're trying to get at the end of the game. Whoever wins gets this, and they cast it away into the flames after the fact. Once you've found out what happened to the adventurers and such, it's pretty fun theme. So, and here are the terrible thing tokens, and so you'll see they got different tentacles amounts here. So you've got like 2 tentacles, that'll be -2 points at the end of the game, 3, and so on. And it's kind of random how many you put out, but generally they go in ascending order. So the later into the game, the more people that have collected terrible things, the worse it'll get. You know, you'll get up to the 3 tentacle ones, and so they'll be worth more penalties for your victory points at the end. And let's see here. These are the feat cards. So these have different. These are basically like, I want to say like instant spells in a way. Just that you can play. I believe you can only play them on your turn though, unless they say otherwise. But let's contingency plan, reveal the top 3 cards of the feat deck, and play them all for free in any order. Oh, screw this card. This is what came up last week, and it was a pain in the ass trying to figure out exactly when that should have been done and how it should have been done. So I'll go through that. But they each have like a cost. So you have to pay those feat tokens, those blue tokens. And so this will cost 3. There's some that are free that cost 0, but they're obviously not as powerful. I mean, this just allows you to remove a terrible thing token and discard it. So they go up to 1. They go from 0 to 3, and they all just do different things. This one allows you to. Each opponent loses 1 focus token, or steal a focus token from 1 opponent. So they're kind of cool. They're nice. They add a little bit because it's random, so you never know who's going to get what and what they're going to play and when. So it adds a little randomness to the game. And we've got the swag. So this is the stuff that at the trade post or whatever, you'll at the end of your turn you can buy some swag, some sweet items and gear. The camera. So this is an example. This is how much it costs. They'll have the name. They'll have its effect. So replace 1 focus die in your dice pool with a luck die. So that's you replace one of the green die with the yellow die, and it kind of gives you a little. Luck dice does not cost focus tokens to reroll, because when you reroll dice, you have to use luck tokens to specifically roll, or focus tokens to re-roll focus dice if you just want to roll 1 instead of all. So there's some nuances there, and this one will give you a panic die, so you'll have it, but you can't re-roll it after the fact. So the little pistol. So yeah, they each have varying costs and different effects. These are ones that are just like static. They're just out. But like this will say, it says, exhaust this card to reroll any 1 die during a horror encounter. So exhaust just means you'll flip it, and eventually you'll unexhaust it later. So yeah, that's pretty much a swag, and some of them are just worth ancient secrets. That's the victory points. So at the end of the game, whoever has the most ancient secrets will win. So that's worth 7, but you got to pay 9. But still, it's not too bad. So that's the swag cards. And then we have, I believe these are considered the horror cards. I'd have to take a look, but let's take a look here. So these are ominous encounters, and basically you got 3 different colors. You've got green, yellow, and then the red. So you'll shuffle a specific amount depending on how many players of each, and then you'll like stack a deck, and it will go in this order: red on the bottom, yellow or orange on in the middle, and then green on top. And so as you lay them out on the board, these are the encounters that you'll have to try to defeat. They have a ancient secrets value, so if you, it's kind of, this is like the, I'll show you the worker placement part. You'll place a character on the spot where this encounter is, and to defeat this, you'll need a run of 3 or more, so 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5, so on, etc. So, and then you can beat them. You'll get their value towards your score at the end of the game. This is the type of it's a feat type encounter, and so, and I'll through a playthrough I can go into more detail as to what that means. So, but these get harder as you go. So you got the green are the easy. So once you get through them, you'll eventually go to the harder ones. You've got so like this one, it's another blue, the occultist. It's worth 5 ancient secrets, and you need a run of 3, but it's got to be a 4 or higher, so it's got to be 4, 5, 6 for you to defeat it. And basically, if you don't defeat what you're encountering, and there's kind of ways around it, and like I said, you got the swag that helps you and gives you bonuses and special moves, but you'll get terrible things, those tokens that are worth negative victory points at the end of the game. So here's a really hard one worth 9. You got to get 4 of a kind of 4 or highers. It's a focus and a treasure type, artifact type. So, but yeah, so these are some of the different encounters that you'll have. They're basically called ominous encounters, and you'll just fight these throughout the game, and that's how you'll get most of your victory points for the game. So, and so that's these, and I believe that's it for most of the components for the most part, aside from the board. So I'll see if I can actually get the board out. I'll go through the instruction booklet real quick. There was, not gonna lie, it was set up nice. Everything was set up fine in terms of they explain a good chunk, but can't lie, there were just in the game that I played recently that some things were not explained so much. I didn't have time. I mean, I tried looking through here. Some stuff I did look up after the fact, but some things were with, like the feat cards in here, I believe it kind of explained them as being used in between dice rolls for encounters. I don't know. So it made it sound like that was the only time, but it wouldn't make sense for half the cards there are. And so it sounded like you could use them any time in your turn, but I don't believe it was in here. And this, again, this could be a Kickstarter. This could be an original. There could be a revised edition. I didn't really research that, so unfortunately, there were a lot of questions that came up at different times while playing that weren't very specifically covered here. So we kind of winged it and went with what logically made sense and kind of worked through it that way. And oh yeah, I forgot. There's these. Where are those cards? Yeah, there's these scenario cards too, so you can roll your dice, and even if you don't like beat an encounter, or if you do and you have left over, you can gain resources with your extra dice, and they're set up by scenarios. I'm not quite sure where I've got the scenario cards, but so they're in there. And yeah, so there were some issues with the rules, but nothing damning or overly damaging. And so yeah, and hopefully there's some revised, and usually you can go on Board Game Geek and you can find a lot of the info there fairly easily from questions and Q&As and FAQs and such. So I'm going to tuck this in here real quick. I want to just lay out the board for you, see if I can get a shot of that. And Yeah, that's not so bad. That was way bigger from my memory there. So, yeah, this is the board. You have the different areas. And this is where you have the worker placement. On your turn, you'll pick a spot. You'll activate whatever it is that it gets you, depending on where you go. Like this gives you the first player map. Not sure if you can see that, but so it's first player token, and then you'll take your turn. You'll take an order. Down here is where you got the swag, so it comes out where you can buy stuff. And you just got spots for your feat cards, feat discard, and then your ominous encounters up here, which will flip out into the different 1/6 sections here, and that's who you determine who you want to go fight, whether it's you want to get the action or if you want to try and fight a specific encounter to try to get those ancient secrets, since that's how you'll eventually win the game. So yeah. So, and then if you got a little rumors section here, if you happen to fail an encounter and nobody else can attempt to fight it, it gets discarded into the rumors and are kind of lost to time. And yeah, and you got the this is the track, little track for the terrible tokens, terrible things tokens. So once that's gone, it'll trigger the end game, or once you defeat all the encounters. And yeah, so that's Ancient Terrible Things. Yeah, it's a fun game. So I'm looking forward to possibly looking into trying to get the expansion to see if we can get 5 players, which would be nice. I hope it was 5 players. If memory serves me correctly, it was an expansion for a 5th player. So, and hopefully some revised rules that are a little more detailed into how certain cards and mechanics function. So, so yeah, this was Ancient Terrible Things. This is Jack with Generation Jak of the Cryton Chronicles. I'll try to do a playthrough and a review of this game. I should have already had a review, but I'll have that coming some point here. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for those videos and any other future videos I put out. So until then, thanks for watching. Take care.